Hi there and welcome to Along the Towpath. Today I'm joined by George Pickard, my business partner. We talk about Chartwell Noble, we talk about self-employed agency, we talk about actually his journey, which has been really, really interesting over the years. So enjoy. So, George Pickard, welcome to Along the Towpath. This is your first foray, isn't it, really? I think we've walked down on lunchtime, but I don't think you've ever actually been on the towpath in front of a camera, have you?
I'm not sure we've got this far before. Usually I break out in a rash if I get taken too far away from my phone for too long.
Yeah, well, George, introduce yourself. So, who are you? Where have you come from today?
Well, I am George Pickard. I'm one of the co-owners of Chartwell Noble. Obviously, you being one of the other owners and the other owner doing a great job behind the cameras.
Mr. Health and Safety.
Just Mr. Health and Safety. And I was at something yesterday which made me sort of reflect suddenly on my career, where I was introduced as...
Is now a good time to confess?
I was with lawyers as well. But they introduced me, I was on a panel, and they introduced me as having been in the career for 25 years. Mm-hmm. And it was slightly terrifying and daunting thought that actually it's a little bit longer than 25 years. It's more like 27, 28 years now. So I first started in property in 1999, doing commercial West End office agency in London. Mm-hmm. And great fun, and that's where I found my buzz for property.
Because family-wise, I think your father was in property, was he not?
I'm third generation property expert. So to speak. Sounds like a sort of, my daddy before me and his daddy before him. And hopefully my son after me, maybe, but it does run in our blood.
So that's interesting. You started in agency and commercial, in the commercial world, yeah?
Yes. Okay,
so West London, doing all the usual sort of enjoyment of West London, because let's be honest, it's a slightly different world to the one you find yourself in now, isn't it?
Mayfair back then in the 2000s was an incredible place. It was proper beers after works with your colleagues and peers in the market. Yeah. It was lunches, it was taxis, it was fast moving, it was parties every week and every evening. It was a hilarious time. It was almost like the last bastion of unprofessional professionalism. Very suited to my, as you well know,
youth.
To my mentality and my youth.
So then you grew up.
No, I'm still waiting for that.
And decided to settle down and then move into proper agency.
I think I'm still deciding what I'm going to do in life, to be honest with you.
So let's sort of fast forward quickly then.
Yes.
We go to Worcestershire via a few routes, so a bit of the Cotswolds and...
Yes, we for a few routes ended up in Worcestershire, having picked up a top student award from Cirencester along the way. Mm-hmm. Found my my wife, and still my current wife, ended up having a family and a disgusting large mortgage and all the kind of usual traps that people fall into when they get married. Mm-hmm. And I started my career in country house agency with a firm called Humberts at the time, and that was in 2005. So I've done 20 years property in this area.
So the actual country house agency, 20 years, starting with Humberts, which then became...
great question.
Chesterton Humberts?
Chesterton Humberts. That was after I left, though, hence my hesitation.
Yeah, just for those who didn't know. So then you went from Humberts to...
I went to Knight Frank in Worcester. Mm-hmm. They're wonderful offices on College Street opposite the cathedral.
Offices, yeah.
Amazing, great location. Pinnacle at the time, kind of office space, huge glass frontage, all the properties we had on the market.
It was a proper landmark in the middle of Worcestershire, wasn't it?
It was a really, really good pitch there. And I worked with two brilliant chaps at the time, and then Will Curtin and Jonathan Ben Goff, who were fantastic in terms of bringing me on. And then after that, I then started working with a girl called Shelley as well, who was a brilliant agent, and we were a great dynamic. Still is a very good agent. And
well, they all are.
Yeah, they're all still practicing amazingly.
Nice, can't we?
Didn't put them off it. And after that, I then went to a company called Halls, and it was a sort of franchise office, Halls Worcester. And I was there for a few years, heading up their country homes department. And then I got the calling, as we all do at some point in our life, in country homes in Worcestershire.
I'm going to guess Andrew Grant.
Yeah.
We've all been there in some fashion or another, yes.
Andrew very kindly asked me to come and join the partnership, head up the country homes, and try and drive a forward kind of battle for them. The country homes department then at the time had lost its premium line. And so I was called in and I got to change all that. And very quickly we turned that around from sort of listing 2-bedroom bungalows at the back end of nowhere to actually listing some proper country homes.
Proper country houses that were, sort of
£1 million
worthy of the name country house.
Yeah, basically we went from having I think 1 or 2 houses over £1 million to something like 15.
Wow, okay.
Just over
and that was just solely Worcestershire or a bit further afield?
It was covering all the offices, so at the time it had a huge range going from Warwickshire across to Herefordshire, up to Shropshire, down to the edge of the Cotswolds and Gloucestershire. We had a huge patch at the time.
Yeah, okay.
Hello.
So, go on through. So let's rewind it back a little bit then. So go back to Knight Frank. So how many years were you?
I was with Knight Frank for about 7 years.
7 years, okay. And so how old were you then? 20s, 30s? Let's say 20s, just to make you feel better.
Yeah, I was in my 20s.
Okay, good stuff. So, tell me about that. So, because the people we talk to along the towpath, or we've been talking to over the last year along the towpath, we've never really forayed into that world. So, tell us a bit about your time at Knight Frank, and obviously, respectful of what it is now. But what was it like there and then? Tell me about your average day and what the work looked like.
It's very tempting not to go down the avenue of sort of lots of jokes of wake up, put some tweed on, and it's a hell of an institution. And I was very, very lucky to work there and to have had so many years there and to sort of progress through it. The training and the culture there was exceptional. There was always a course you could go and do, and they used to always refer to it as sharpen your claws. Okay. And there was always something, and you could call on the head office resources on, at the time, Hanover Square, then they moved to Baker Street. But you could sort of go, look, I'm not feeling great or confident about overcoming objections, for instance. And they go, that's fine, okay, we've got a course doing that in September, we'll sign it, we'll put you on it.
Nice.
Come up to town, enjoy yourself, make use of the buffet in the office or whatever. And the other great thing is they always had a variety of different coaches come in. So I'm a great believer that whoever teaches you something, not everything's for you. Not everything's going to be in line with how your brain works, but there's always something. There's always one little nugget, one little gem you can take. And so by having all these different coaches, you were constantly being fed lots of different gems and nuggets.
Okay, good. Okay, so decent outfit, lots of learning, so you really put you on the accelerated path to making sure that you were a polished country house agent, yeah? Yeah,
it was very elite. And naturally, as a brand, it attracted elite properties, it attracted elite clients. You're always dealing with almost a stereotypical kind of set of people. There was definitely a culture within the business which then kind of easily mixed with the culture of its clients. So there was always a crossover somehow.
Okay, so there was like a community is probably the wrong word, really, isn't it? But it's that sort of...
It's a whole ecosystem.
You know who you are and who you're dealing with.
Yeah, I mean, to the point, you've got...
Old Boys Network?
There's a strong Old Boys Network, and it was usually quite often that I could bump into someone I was either at college or school with, and if I didn't, there's only 1 degree away where you'd find a link.
Okay, so that's good. So, and it's a highly established institution, isn't it? It's very well known for what it is as a brand and as a place to work, and it's aspirational, isn't it? Really, to say that you work for a high end brand like Knight Frank, it's a good thing to have A on your CV and B for your mum to tell your mum's mates.
The mums and dads love it. Yeah, it's
So then you left there.
I left there,
because you were invited over to
halls.
To halls.
Halls of Worcester.
Okay, and so you started the country homes department,
Yeah.
and spent 3 years, was it? Do you know? Did you say?
Two to 3 years, yeah, 2 to 3
And
years.
then over to Andrew Grant, where you spent.
Well, I spent a good 3.5, 4 years in the old Andrew Grant LP, in the old partnership. And then, sadly, when that had to go under, myself
Which, for legal reasons, we won't go into in too many details.
No, and it was a sad time because it was such a prolific brand. But that was the thing, it was such a strong
It was quite
brand.
a shock, wasn't it, to be fair?
It was a big shock for the area and for everybody involved. But we truly believed in the brand, so with some investors, myself and some other managers, we basically bought the brand.
So proper management buyout? Was it, or?
Essentially. It can be called many things, but I'd rather simply just say we bought the brand.
Okay.
And everything and what we wanted within it, we cherry picked, and basically built a new Andrew Grant Limited and Andrew Grant Lettings Limited, and sort of tried to rebuild a phoenix from the ashes.
The ashes, okay. And then you spent a couple of years under the new co.
Yeah.
And then you and I went for a beer.
Yeah, basically, and it was again. I'm going to dwell on the details, but agency wasn't working for me.
So I want to dwell on the details of that, because you're going to try and you're going to wait for this to freeze over and skate around as much as you can.
No, I think I'll just throw you in it whilst it's thawed out.
With the lawyer that follows me. Yeah. So
they're already in there.
Let's dwell on the details,
Okay.
and not the minutiae, because that, therein lies monsters. So we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But you'd fallen out of love with agency.
I'd fallen massively out of love with agency, and I was in a bit of a down spiral trying to think about what can I do that isn't this. Where else can I go? Can I just retrain? Can I retrain as a tradie, or can I go and do something completely over here, left field? That's right. Left field, and just do something completely different. And
you said retrain as a trader. I mean, you were really going to pull yourself out of it altogether.
I was
so
ready.
20 years worth of agency.
Basically, 20 years.
Into touch, had enough.
Yep, bang, gone. I'm done. Do something else.
That's quite sad.
It's really sad. And I remember when we had started talking, a mate of mine had said to me, he said, that's all, that's quite exciting. You might have this idea. And it's just, before you actually leave the market completely and you go and do something completely different, don't forget your currency. And that's something that's always stuck with me, is don't forget your currency, don't forget what you're worth, don't forget what you know, what your value is, what people value
you personally.
Yeah, your own personal currency, what people value you for. And I think that's the kind of the penny that dropped, and it was a kind of fate-like feeling that this opportunity had come up to build this company. I was being reminded about maybe what my purpose is in business life, and not to throw away 20 years endeavours, market knowledge, being able to literally drive around a county going, sold that, sold that.
You'd still
sold
be doing
that
it
one.
even if you were a plumber, wouldn't you?
I'd
Let's
probably,
be honest.
yeah. Fix that. And it is, when you do drive around and you remind yourselves, I mean, I'm a complete nerd about it in that I'll drive around going, yeah, sold that in 2007 for X amount. Yeah, sold that one in 2012 for this amount, to almost to that extent. But also, I probably still know who lives there. And
Yes.
I'll probably find them
On your phone.
on my phone. I mean, that's the ridiculous bit.
Yeah. We're walking, are we?
Yeah, we're walking.
Yeah,
And so everything started to sort of slot into place, but it was still a really, I was a very, very lost chap at the time.
And I suppose really what I'm interested in on that basis is that, not speaking, I mean, Stu's only behind the camera and he's probably within, I know he's within earshot, but if he wanted to shout, he soon could. He was pretty much out of love with agency as well. First, you?
Agreed.
Yeah, agreed. I got a thumbs up and agreed and a smile. There we go.
You were swimming around the bottom of the barrel with us as well in that.
Yeah, I think all three of us were completely disenfranchised with our roles, and I don't think I don't think we can point any one particular finger. I think there were lots of reasons.
Yeah.
And I think, is it fair to say that if we were to revisit that time now as ourselves, would we give our heads a bit of a wobble, or would we sit there and go, no, you need to get out, you need to start afresh, you need to get out all the industry altogether? Or
I've used the analogy many times with you, and I still think it's the perfect analogy for it. When you're swimming around in a toxic, mucky goldfish bowl, you don't realise how ugly it is until you're outside the goldfish bowl looking in. And now I have that that sight and that vision. I can see what it's like outside the toxic bowl I was in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you needed
I'd be
a fresh...
properly slapping my face, slapping myself around the face, going, what are you doing?
You don't
Why
know
are you
what
going
you know
through?
until you know.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
you don't know until you know. It is one of those class things. It's there's I'm sure there's some kind of fable about why does this animal keep doing this? It's because it doesn't know what anything else is, and it is really that kind of thing. And it's until you take that leap out, and that's the hardest bit. The hardest bit is jumping into the pond, into the cold water. That's the hardest bit, because although I was deeply unhappy and I wasn't in a great place and I was falling out in love with the industry and I was wondering how the hell I'm going to get out of this bloody thing, there's the sort of there's the sort of nectar of life given to you of money. Yeah, I was just having just enough trickled through to me that I could just about get by. I could just about pay my bill. I could just about buy something for the kids. I could just about pay their lunch dinners. I could just about pay the mortgage, pay the electricity, all that kind of stuff. And the hardest bit was
kept in a spot.
Yeah,
not by an individual person, but just by a specific. You know, you were just used to going through what the motions of what you were going through.
It was awful, and because I lost all my confidence as well. I was pitching terror. I couldn't win any business. I was absolutely rock bottom. But after making the leap and sort of getting into the water, like, actually, this water's lovely. It's great.
I like agency.
And even though I had to hide under a desk for 9 months, just through ability, you suddenly realise how little you need. And so, although I was
hiding under a desk, you were potato grading. I remember right. Yeah.
I was potato grading.
He was actually potato grading.
You know, you're still able to survive on very little. The money I was earning, sorting out all the potatoes for mate Harry, was covering the bills. It was feeding my family. It was keeping the roof over their head.
Why do you keep doing it then? It sounds like great, mind you.
It was great fun as well. I really enjoyed it.
Only lasts so long, can't it? So let all that time doing Young Farmers and all that sort of thing, isn't it? So let's pause on that specific moment then. So it's fair to say we didn't go around in circles, but we discussed it a long time as to whether or not it was the right thing for us, whether us joining forces, all the three of us with Stu as well, as to what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, what good looks like, what the brand could be, what sort of agency we were going to do, where we were going to do it, under what banner. What was the moment that was I don't want to use the word trigger, because trigger's a stupid bloody word, misused, often misused nowadays by people who
Turning points.
Just like a good argument. Yeah.
Turning points.
So what was the moment that made you go, do you know what? I'm going to do this. That's a bloody great idea. I think the water is better over there. I think the grass is greener over there.
Do you know, that's a really great question, which I've never given much thought to, because it happened. I think it was the sort of, it's going to happen, it's got to happen, it's got to be the point at jumping into the water when you suddenly go, this is great. And
what was the moment that made that for you? Because taking the jump is one thing, but as you just said, it's the biggest, most difficult thing is making that leap. What was the thing that gave you the energy, the enthusiasm and comfort to do it?
So not only was it the belief and support of you and Stu's partners going into it, where I remember specifically at one point I had a real wobble about it and I was like, I can't do it, I can't do this, I can't put myself through it. And it was, that's fine, we'll wait. What? Yeah, it's fine, we'll wait. We'll just do a few bits and pieces in the background, but we'll wait. When you're ready, we'll jump on. If that's 2 days, wicked. If that's 2 months, fine. If that's 2 years, it'd be really annoying, but fine. And it was that reassurance that actually I was going to be getting into bed with two people who had my back, like properly had my back. They knew the struggles I was going through. They knew that the paths I'd been down before, where people had been not dragging me, just forcing me into it, it isn't the way how to manage me. And actually, if you just go with me, and if we just all go together as a flow, it just works so much more easily. I think that was probably it. It was weird. It's like, I'm not doing this. And it's like, that's fine, we'll wait for you. And then I think a month later, it's like, here's my notice.
Yeah, we're going to make it a reality.
It was easy as that. There was obviously a few things I needed to get in line beforehand to make it happen.
That's part of the course, isn't it? When it comes to starting your own business.
It's kind of getting your house in order and everything, which
literally and metaphorically.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Okay, so let's sort of take a slight deviation from that then, with regards to what it could look like in terms of starting your own business then. So you took the step, we decided to build Chartwell Noble, which we'll come back to as to what that looks like. But you had that freedom to be an agent on your own terms, in your own way, doing your own thing. Hi there. Doing your own thing under a brand. Mm-hmm. What would you say to anybody mulling that? So as a Chartwell Noble agent, or any of the other names of self-employed brokerages, whether it's in any end of the market, about the ability to step into that?
It's so much easier than you think. I think that's the hardest thing that you have to reconcile with yourself. It's the easiest thing, but it's the hardest thing to reconcile with yourself, in that it's so easy to slip in imposter syndrome. Yeah, we're constantly told you never do that, you can't do that, and you start believing what people are saying to you, and you start believing you're actually no good at it, and so you have huge imposter syndrome that you're not actually very good at what you do, when actually you are bloody brilliant. And when you get out there and you start doing it, and you have all this liberty around you and agility around you to perform and act how you need to in front of your clients, it's so easy, because you are just so relaxed that it just becomes naturally, and you start to see your true worth. It's quoting fees and costs have never been as easy as they have been now.
Why do you think that is?
Because I can see my value. I completely believe in my value as an agent.
Busy down here today.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, you're selling yourself rather than somebody else's dreams, visions, and aspirations and hopes. Yeah.
Exactly that. You are having to sell everything you believe in and your abilities. And if you think you're a 1% agent, you're going to be a 1% agent. But if you genuinely believe you are a 1.5 to 2% agent, you really are a 1.5 to 2% agent.
Okay, so that's great. So let's just pull back the sort of curtain on what Chartwell Noble looks like then. Let's do a little bit of a self-plug, because it's us. We're on our own towpath. This is all us, and we're going to self-indulge for a moment. So let's talk directly to those who may be considering moving from a comfortable salaried role in a tough market where they have the comfort, but really not the love of where they are, because they know they're being told to sell their soul for the benefit of the business. What should they consider as a good idea?
Well, first of all, if they're on a comfortable salary in a company in a tough market at the moment, I'd watch your back, because it's going to be very stressful, because their bosses are going to be looking for blood to cut costs if they need to. Whereas actually, if you're in a self-employed model, you've only got yourself to blame if you're not selling property. But the agility in which you can sell property and through the different models and the different methods that we've got within Chartwell Noble, it means there's always an opportunity to make something turn. And because you actually get to keep an enormous amount of the fee as your income, you're suddenly earning fantastic money and with very little effort. It'd only take one sale a month, and you could be on the best part of 100 grand a year.
So let's think about that then. So what does an average agent, country house agent in, let's say, Worcestershire or Warwickshire or Gloucestershire, Herefordshire, Shropshire, wherever, what would there be? What would their income be? Sorry, forgive me, not income. What would their invoicing be?
So I think a good agent in Worcestershire should be invoicing between 150 and 200,000 pounds.
Okay. They keep 70% of that.
And yeah, within our structure,
model.
they keep 70% of that as their share of the business.
Irresistible, isn't it? Why would you say no?
Why would you say no?
You didn't.
Well, I nearly didn't because I didn't believe in myself. And that's the only reason why you'd say no, is if you don't believe in yourself. So if you truly believe in yourself, go do it.
Oh.
At the end of the day, we live in this world, and this is probably going down a deep and sort of spiritual thing, but you're only here once. What would be worse than getting to the age of 50 or 55 and getting close to retirement and thinking, I never gave that a go. I never did it. You could come and do it, and if it doesn't work after 3-5 years for you, you haven't lost anything. You can still get back into the market. Well, no one will look at you
I
nonetheless.
think we were just the other side of this bridge that we're going to pause for quickly when Heather Staff from Street Group said nothing is undoable.
Yeah.
And apart from having children. But nothing is undoable insofar as that take that leap, push forward. Everybody we've had along the towpath up until today, including today, has been somebody who has left employment and taken a leap. And that's been a constant theme of everything we've done. And that that challenge of leaving something which is really easy, not easy, it's bloody hard work, you make it what you want it to be really, but
yeah.
That's that comfort zone, that ecosystem within which you can operate, as you say, under the false illusion of comfort, because the accountants are always watching, aren't they? Those people who've taken that next step into starting and taking the gamble.
They're elevated individuals. They are, and the way how they perform for their clients and how they perform certainly in the arena which we are, the ones that are self-employed are like the people that own a business as well. They are just head and shoulders above everyone else. There is an aura of exclusivity about them as they parade in front of these houses and their clients, and I think that's a huge difference.
Okay, so we've talked about Chartwell Nova. We've given ourselves a little free plug there, and most people can dial back in now. So, let's talk about agency then. So you've obviously Knight Frank, and you've done the Halls and the Andrew Grant, and you've had 20 years in country house agency. So, you've worked with a lot of agents over the years, and you've worked against a lot of agents over the years, including present company. What makes a good country house agent?
That's a great question, and there's a whole mixture of
Thanks,
things.
it's almost like I've done it before, isn't it?
Have you?
Go on then, what makes a good country house agent?
Are you asking me so you can find out?
Yeah. I can learn something.
Still trying to work it out. At the top of the list has got to be trust. In that professionally, people around you have got to trust you. That's like from other professions that are accredited to what you do. So, solicitors and surveyors and accountants, all that lot. But also, and importantly, your clients do, and they trust the advice you give them. So I think a good agent has to give honest, integral advice, which then results in trust. There's too many agents out there that will just wazzle out amazing figures and valuations for properties, and they don't therefore attain their value. They don't keep in touch with their clients, so they don't know what's going on. And most clients, if nothing's going along, as long as they know nothing's going along, they're going to be happy.
It's that reporting that you've got nothing to report type thing.
Yeah, it sounds idiosyncratic, but it's true. And it just means, if you can understand, you can feel the market, you can feel the mood, you can advise them accordingly. Current sort of feeling in the market is pretty low, but you know what? A good agent who's got some years behind them knows that actually it'll pass, it'll be all right. And if you can reassure your clients that everything's going to be fine, then that's good.
So, on that then, so at the moment, and we don't want to timestamp this, but it is pre-budget November 2026.
Is it?
It is apparently so. So the rumour mill will have it. So it is challenging. There's a lot of uncertainty in the market, economically, politically. There's an awful lot going on. So how do we, as country house agents, who, let's be honest, our clients are well informed. Let's call it well informed.
Yeah.
How do we help them navigate this landscape? Because everybody's got a priority. Everybody's got a figure they need to earn. Everybody's got to go out of their house. And how do you approach that? How do you build trust? Because let's be honest, in order to be the one who gives the most honest advice, you've got to be the one that upsets them, haven't you?
Yeah, in many ways.
So how do you maintain trust doing that?
I think that just comes with time. I haven't won every single market appraisal because I've told the truth. I've told them how it is. But someone else has come down, poured treacle in their ear, and they can't hear the truth because their ear's blocked. So, I've had recently actually 2 jobs come back to me on the grounds of should listen to you in the first place. And there's other jobs I'm watching, and the price is coming down and closer to where I am. But look, I understand from a client's perspective, it is going to be hard if one agent is saying to you your house is only worth 1.2 and someone else is saying, well, I think I could get over 1.5 for it. There's over £300,000 difference, and as your primary asset, it's also tax-free.
Yes.
So who's going to turn down that? And if somebody thinks they can get that much more money, you're going to do it. So I get it, but it's the realisation, I think, at the end that the optimum price that they've been looking for is like that. And realistically, all they're going to get is that. And it's that realisation when they realise, someone's just been telling me porkies just to win the instruction and be 300 and make me think I could have another 300,000.
So on that basis then, how do you build that trust? How do you ensure, beyond just the fact that eventually you're going to be proven right anyway, how do you build a back catalogue of trust or of authority, should I say?
I'll just be right more often.
Yeah, it does help, doesn't it?
It's also, I think it's being able to articulate where it's at in an empathetic way. Maybe not empathetic, a commercially empathetic. It's being able to sort of suppress the owner's emotion and make them see it commercially. There's a kind of, it's really hard to describe or articulate what it is, but it is literally just trying to get people to take the emotion out of it a little bit, yet you have to remain emotional to them because it is their home, and a lot of people love their home or they have happy memories of their home, and it's being able to make it say, look, you want money for this emotional possession that you own. Here's how I'm going to get you some cash from this thing, and it's trying to
bridging the emotive and the transactional.
It's trying to bridge it, whilst all the time not make it any less emotional than it needs to be. It's a very hard thing. It's like in the 90s when we all had those tech stats.
It's bedside manner, isn't it? Really?
It's bedside manner. And like I said, with these hi-fis, you used to have the balancer. And it's all about just making sure the right one is at the right height. There's lots of different things going on, but each of them have to be accentuated.
Right.
Yeah, and then you put another album on, or you go to another house with another owner, and you've actually got to adjust them all again, just ever so slightly. An equalizer.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually the most naff analogy, but most real analogy I can find for it.
I think it works really well. I remember I was with Christopher Walken this time last year. I think it might even be 2 years ago now. Crikey.
Yeah.
When we were saying actually, country houses, country agency, rural, etc. It's not like your terraced houses in a town or a city where you can look 5 either side and you've got 3 comparables as to what's sold in the last 2 or 3 years, and therefore you've got £1 per square foot that you can adjust and tweak. And you're dealing with a huge geography with houses that are completely different, with different variables within them.
Yeah.
So there's lots of things to take into account there, isn't there?
There are huge amounts, and that's where I think some people might overcomplicate it, when it can be quite a simple system if you want to value houses like that. And whenever I turn up somewhere and I start scratching my head and sort of thinking, cool, where do we start here? It's really easy. Just break it down into bite-sized pieces. And once you do that, you start to accumulate actually what the value of this estate or large house is. And it's from there, then you can say, well, actually, if I just look at this bit, that is similar to this £1 million house over here I sold, and that £1 million house, and that £1 million house. So that means that bit there is surely £1 million. And then this one here, and this one there, and this one there. I sold those for 1.5, and they had 7 acres with them. So that must mean this is kind of.
Yeah,
and
so
then
again, you're sort of adjusting each bit as you go along.
You adjust it as you go along. There's also a little bit of an essence of location as well, and knowing your geography. Knowing which areas flood, knowing where the good restaurants and the good pubs are, and likewise knowing where the not so good ones are. It's knowing where there might be a holiday home park nearby. It might be knowing that there could be a North Circular going straight through the ground of a very rural city at some point, and where that's been plotted or blueprinted years ago.
What the plans are, yeah. Okay.
And it's little influencing factors like that which just change things.
Okay, so it's about getting to know the landscape, the community, and all that sort of thing. So you've got a little badge just above that very smart logo there.
Oh yeah.
So what's that badge? Tell us about that.
That's the Worcestershire Ambassadors.
And what is that?
The Worcestershire Ambassadors is a wonderful network of Worcestershire people and professionals, and without sounding too much like DJ Smashy and Nicey, they do a lot for charity, and they raise a lot for local charities as well. They put on some fabulous events, and they support lots of other wonderful events as well. And it's not only a great place to meet other professionals and other careers, it's somewhere where you can probably get anything organised. If you're looking for someone who makes bowling pins or so, you will probably find that you could do that quite quickly from that group of people.
So here's a question then.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Welcome.
Is that good for business?
I think
And
it's
it's
great.
not an exploitative thing. Is it good for you, your personal business?
I think everything you do is good for business, and I think it's one of the many ingredients into good business and good agency, because at the end of the day, certainly for what I do with the high-end houses, all of them are, generally speaking, so take it back from saying all of them, let's say 90% of them are going to have some kind of high-class professional contact for one reason, be it an accountant, be it a lawyer, be it an investment guy, be it a private banker. And so networks like that are important to get into that class of people.
Because they all live somewhere, don't they?
They all live somewhere.
They've got friends who live somewhere as well.
And they all got friends who live somewhere,
Sometimes.
and they usually employ someone in a professional network.
Okay, so we've talked about professional networks. That's a community element as well. So, you're quite involved in your local community, are you not?
If you call the pub the local community,
Hey, listen, a lot of business has been done over a pint, isn't it? Let's be
true.
honest.
I think I probably
That's
don't
when
do
we decided we were going into business together. So,
in a local pub of mine.
exactly.
I'm probably not as good as it as I used to be, but I've been quite busy the last couple of years.
Because it's worked.
Yeah, I don't know, because it's worked. But it's something I want to try and get back into again, is doing a bit more locally, because I think one of the key things of good agency is being hyper-local, and it is knowing everything that's going on locally in your postcode. And what's great, it's knowing the planning permissions, it's knowing the schools, it's knowing the parents, it's knowing who's moving in, it's knowing what other agents have got on the market and what other agents have sold as well. Not necessarily because you want to go out there and steal it, but it's just knowing, it's being able to be that pointed person where someone goes, oh, George will find your house, and they go, well, what do you know, George? You go, well, I know that agency A have got this house over here that might suit you, or agency B have got that one, or we've got this one. And it's being able to just give an honest opinion about the three houses.
So do you think the best agents then, or the agents who perform the best, are the ones who are quite forensic in their market knowledge locally?
Yeah, I mean, it's My forensic knowledge has just come through the grand old course of time. But if you're new to it, then it's got to be a really important part of what you do. Absolutely.
So using, like we've got Spectre, so using those tools to research your own market.
You can use those data points, yeah. Or just get down the pub, just find out what everyone's talking about. It's amazing how much people will tell you. And if you've got an activity, join a running club, join a shooting club, join a gym. If you'll find your people in one of those, and it's something that you'll enjoy and they'll enjoy, and you'll find from that you also then build out a huge network.
Yeah, and it's the thing we've talked about before, isn't it? Which is the 100 raving fans and making sure you've got enough fans around you to promote you and push you, because, well, what's the best form of marketing? Referrals and recommendations, right?
Yeah. And blow your own trumpet, no one else will.
If you were to be mentoring a new, and I don't mean young, but new agent who wanted to step into the world, the new world, this current world that we're in, not necessarily just a self-employed agency, but of country agency, of country homes, if you were to be mentoring that, what advice would you give them? What would be their starter for 10? Keep your phone on, because it's important. A client can call at any time. And as a client,
literally,
you need to take that, do you?
Yeah. It's changed
You're
again.
doing estate agencying. It is genuinely a client, by the way.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to own the feed. Okay, so you're back in the room now.
Yeah. No, all good. So as demonstrated, I hope
keep
they
in touch with your clients.
Yeah, I hope they keep that in the cut, because actually that is the number one thing. Get yourself a mobile phone, and get yourself a mobile phone that works two ways. They can ring you, and you can ring them. It is one of the most. It is the most important tool that I carry with me is a mobile phone, and I have several means of way that people get in touch with me and hold. And the hard bit is trying to service and monitor all of that, but that just comes with practice. I think the next kind of bit of advice I'd say to them is, don't be shy at exploring these networking events. Get out there, make yourself known, and throw yourself in the deep end. And quite honestly, if you don't understand something, ask someone.
Yeah.
There are so many people out there who are willing to help. When I left my last company, even months and years after leaving there, the staff I left behind was still ringing me for advice, and I was still giving them honest advice. Because it's all people want. Is, generally speaking, good people just want to help good people.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you're in the opposition or you work for the other agency. Everybody wants a success. Everybody loves a success story. And at the end of the day, if I can help someone sell that house, even though I don't benefit from it, I probably will somewhere down the line. The property market and the property world and agency is a great big wheel. And as long as you're on your wheel, you're going to be all right. Eventually it'll come round. So you may think, God, this is the 4th year in a row I've come out to this person, give them advice. Year 5 could be the year they sell.
As well, isn't it? It's it's do a good job, turn them into fans, get them to recommend you to somebody who you do a good job for. They turn into a fan, and it's that constant. I mean, I've oversimplified the flywheel there, but
it is pretty much that, and it just goes round and round. And I'm fortunate enough; I'm now at a point in my career where I'm selling the same property for the 3rd time, for a third vendor. Or I'm selling a property for the same the 3rd property for the same vendor. As long as you're on that wheel and it's going round, it's fine.
So it's rather than just somebody who provides a service, be somebody who is that go-to person for the individual. But you've got to do quite a lot of work in advance of that.
There is a lot of work, and I think the way to get around it is to live a life where you can make yourself accessible to clients. Again, it goes back to mobile phone. It goes back to not being regimented about this is my job. It's 9 till 5:30. As an agent, your job is actually 12 in the morning till 12 at night. Because I get people message me all over the world at all different times, And they're all very understanding, but they know that if a message comes through to my device, I will get back to it as soon as I can. So I often find when I get up in the morning, when my alarm goes off at 6:30, I make myself a cup of tea and I sit in bed and reply to any WhatsApps that have come in at that hour.
So what's the difference between an agent who's going to just exist and an agent who's going to excel?
The agent's going to excel will just keep going. They'll take the calls when they're on holiday. They will go and do the viewing on a Saturday or a Sunday. They're the ones that will excel because they are making themselves available to both the buyer and the seller, and that's what people like. We live in a world where people want it's a very demanding world. Yeah. And actually I've found the more I give myself over to the clients and say, look, I'm going on holiday. If you get stuck, ring me. My colleagues are all here, they can look after stuff, but if you get stuck, ring me. Don't worry about, just ring. The more I let myself go, the more and more actually they're respectful of my own time. Yeah. They all say, look, I can come and do that on a Sunday, it's not a problem. I'm just doing this and that, and then I'll be with you and I can do that viewing then. Actually, the more you do that, the more I go, oh no, it's your Sunday. Yeah. Have a day off.
Yeah. People are respectful of the fact
that
exactly. They can see you.
Why don't you see if you can do it on another day? And sometimes that's how it works. Sometimes I'll just go and do the viewing, and they are hugely appreciative that I'm there still at 7:30, 8 o'clock on a summer's evening, doing a viewing for them because that's the only time that worked for this specific buyer. But that's just how it is. Yeah. Fortunately, I have a very understanding family, and they know that if I sell that house, it might mean that they can eat something more than baked beans for a week.
So what you're saying is it's not just take pretty pictures and put it on Rightmove then?
There has to be a personal, there has to be huge personality to go with it. In terms of what you do as a person, you have to be a part of that sale.
Visible.
Yeah. Okay. Never just stick it on Rightmove and with pretty pictures and hope that the phone rings. Make the phone ring.
Okay, so you've been both an employed agent, and now you are, to all intents and purposes, a self-employed agent. You are pretty much left to your own devices. You are, apparently, you are free to come and go as you please. You control a lot of your own day. You do it how you wish to do it. You are self-employed. What are the key differences there between employed and self-employed, and what would you say to somebody who's looking at going from one to the other?
Yeah, it's hard. Where do I go with that? Well, let's start with being employed. Let's break it down. Employed, you're there, you've got to answer to the man, you've got to turn up, you've got to perform at the absolute minimum to survive, otherwise you will lose your job. Mm-hmm. So you are probably always more or less operating at your worst. Mm-hmm. I think when you become self-employed, you're turning up for yourself, you're turning up for your family, you're turning up to live and to get on with it and to actually, with the reward structure we've got, make a lot of money, which in turn buys you nice things and hopefully makes you happy. So I think the difference is how you kind of structure yourself to do all of that. What's great about the self-employed thing is that you have the fluidity to do what you need to do. If you've got to go and muck the horses out, if you've got to go and take the dog for a walk, if you need to nip out and get some post off or something, you've got that. But no one's there to say, where the hell have you been for the last 2 hours? Yeah. You can go and do it because you have the flexibility and the agility and the ability to say, actually, well, I took 2 hours out between 11 and 1, therefore I shall work from 5:30 till 7:30, making up that time.
So,
not a problem.
What are the sort of people that shouldn't become a self-employed agent then? Because we always talk about those who should. Who shouldn't be?
I think actually the self-employment side is for everyone. I think if you've got low motivation and you expect stuff just to happen and you're not prepared to get off your arse and go and do something, it's not for you.
No.
It's probably, but then again, if you're an employer, you're probably not for me either, to be honest with you, because I think the rewards favour the people that will go out and pursue it.
It's the hunters, the people who, the business makers rather than order takers, which is the cliche, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, everyone's got their role in a business, but I think to get in the self-employed one, you've really got to be a proper hunter. You don't have to be a lone wolf. You can be a team, and you can utilise a team around you. I'm very fortunate that I've had a great team built around me, because although I'm an amazing lone hunter, nothing else would get done.
And he is, by the way, but we don't say that too often. But okay, so that's interesting then, isn't it? Because it is a cavernous difference, or a canyon of difference between the two, because one is an estate agent and the other is a business owner, isn't it? Even if you are just a humble estate agent, you are still a business owner as a self-employed agent, aren't you?
Yeah, well, you've got a 70% business, so you've got to act like a business owner. You've got to think about the next thing you're going to spend. You've got to think about where the next bucket. It's all very well getting that one sold. What about the next one? What about next month's sales?
So constantly filling up your pipeline activities. What am I doing?
Yeah, you've got to work out, and you've got to basically prioritise and budget. So you've got to sort of spot, well, you know what, I'm going to have some time off over here. Therefore, that means that probably 3-4 months down the line, I'm probably going to have a lower income month. But if I overcome it by actually putting these auction ones in there, for instance, then I can probably keep the keel nice and even in terms of the income.
Okay. So
however, you might be someone that can budget by having a big dollop of all sales happening at once and being able to survive with no sales for a couple of months before you get your next
So it's
big
about
dollop.
spreading it out over the year or planning ahead?
Planning ahead is probably the key thing. Because like I said, you've got two different types. I know people that thrive on getting a big pot and they just have that big pot for ages. And then they get another big pot.
Yeah. So invoice when they need it type thing.
well, yeah, but they're so well at budgeting, they never get to that point because they've always got a big pot. Yeah. And then they have nothing, and then they get another big pot. Yeah. But they have nothing in between, whereas other people need the constant drip.
Yeah. Okay. So what's in the last couple of years then? Before that, because you were, whilst you were at Andrew Grant, you were still self-employed on the basis that you were a business owner there. You were part of the setup there. What's been the biggest lesson you've learned, certainly over the last couple of years?
Turn up.
Nice.
Turn up.
Yeah, there endeth the lesson.
Yeah. If you're going to do it, do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I went backwards. Is I stopped turning up. I stopped turning up for myself. I stopped turning up for my family. I stopped turning up for the people that believed in me, and you can do it, and you will do it. And you know what? When you are doing it, it is fantastic, and just thrive on it. I mean, you guys always say, I'm at my happiest. You know that I'm never miserable, and I'm always being silly and mucking about when I am flat out and I haven't got time to put a piece of toast in the toaster. That is when I'm at my happiest. But as soon as I'm left to twiddle my thumb, the devil makes work for idle thumbs, and I get miserable and I get grumpy and I start picking fights with everyone. But
that's also true.
But when I'm busy, it's brilliant. We bounce off the walls, and as soon as that happens, the energy then carries on and hopefully makes other people bounce off the walls.
Okay, so that's great, isn't it? Turn up. I mean, make sure you're ever present. That you are doing. You're thinking ahead. You're planning ahead. You're invested in your local community. You're involved with your local professional network, and you're doing everything you need to do to build that ecosystem around you to support your business, to build your fan base and all that sort of thing. Okay, so what's next in estate agency then? Got a bike coming. What's next? If you consider the next 5 years of the world of estate agency, of which it is a very frequently changing landscape currently. Yeah. What's coming next? Next 5 years, estate agency. What's coming next?
Next 5 years, estate agency. Well, I don't know what new technology is around the corner, but with the technology we've currently got on our hands, I think the way of video is going to change. It continues to change, and people can't change with it. They're just going to get left behind. I think the weird and wonderful side of how it's going to all work is probably going to be augmented AI in videography for the marketing of properties. It sounds all very buzzy words, and I couldn't even spell half of them. But it's all about getting the cost of the marketing down, but the quality up. And I think that's the hardest thing that a lot of punters don't understand when marketing property. It's bloody expensive. To produce the videography, to produce the photography is really, really expensive. To have an empty...
To get it at a decent quality.
And then to get it to a decent quality, because you need some very specialist artists who we're lucky to work with, who do a lot of that stuff for us. But then when you need to make that tweak here and that tweak there...
Give him a mention, you know he loves it.
So Dan, who's on the camera over here, and Lisa, who's on the camera over there, I work with a lot, and they do a lot of my videography. There are other
They're the ones that make you look good, is what
They
I'm
make
saying.
me look... There are other videographers who do also make me look good. I'll hasten in case any of them are watching. But they're the ones that make me look really, really good. And they also have that future vision. So I maybe do a piece to camera, and they will say, actually change it to this. I'm going a little bit off sidetrack, but I think that's also relevant to the point, is that the marketing is people are going to realise that marketing is going to be more and more orchestrated, and that the teams are going to work closer and closer together. I think AI has got to be mentioned again. I mean, we use AI, but we use it in such a way to finesse what we're doing, rather than here's a property listing, it's written by AI.
Nestled.
Yeah, nestled, step outside. It's those kind of cliches.
We had an explosive garden through one AI.
Yeah, which was great because it was mostly patio.
Yeah.
To make it look like an explosion. But it's learning how to use these tools to their optimum level to create the best marketing. I think where the market goes, where people look for property, is going to change as well. We've, in our lifetimes doing this, we've seen that go from shop window and registering with an estate agent to newspaper to
flip cards.
And then onto website and portals. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole today because that's a whole different thing. But I think the way how the portals work is going to change. And I think
everybody would agree with that.
Yeah, and then I think how people look for property is really, really going to change. I think humans will always want a human interaction. I mean, God, I get wound up when I have to speak to a robot on a phone. And, how can I help? And you have to then try and articulate it really, really clearly, and it still never understands you. But anyway, so there is still a very, very important place for humans in the marketing of property. And I think when it comes down to it, nothing could beat a human being able to describe the feel of a property and the emotion of a property to another human being, or show them around it and share that emotion and just go, I mean, look at this view. Maybe not this one, but
Telegraph. Power line.
It's a power line over there. But being able to say, isn't this fantastic? Yeah. It is fantastic. And share that emotion. And that's, I think, really what sells houses.
So the future of prop tech is people?
No. The prop tech, there is always a place for. The future of house sales, of actually closing the sale, is people.
Human interaction.
Is human interaction.
Okay. I hesitate to ask this. And we have the power of editing, which is great. But what is your controversial opinion that we have pre-edited, pre-screened, pre-approved, that you haven't told anybody else before? What is your controversial opinion about the property industry that you've not really discussed with anybody before?
Okay, I'm gonna put something in so that it can stay and edit, but I want to do a whole thing about portals at another date.
Okay, is that the condition, isn't it?
That's the condition, and then I'm going to leave that rabbit hole there, and I'm going to dive down another one.
Okay.
My controversial opinion of the property market is that the bar is about that high. It is that low. I think it's disgusting how terrible so many estate agents were. And it's not about sort of learning and coming up and everything. It's just that it's all a bit crap, really, isn't it? And I think it's where we've been really successful is we've entered the market at a very high level, and very quickly we've got high quality instructions, from high quality clients. We are listing best in class properties everywhere, regardless of their price. It's so nice to think we have houses at 350,000. In fact, we've got some at 200,000, and we've got a house at £5 million, and we're covering everything in between. But it's all best in class, beautiful stuff, beautifully presented. And some of those have come from other agents, and it's just incredible just by having that different energy and just by lifting the bar to a proper level. Suddenly these houses start selling. There was that great example when we first started, Bramblewood, which had been on with another agent for months and months and months. And we came along, we readdressed the video, we realigned the photography, we re-advised them by saying this downstairs bedroom that your dad sleeps in the whole time he's here is a bedroom, right?
A bedroom.
Yeah, it is. Well, why is it not being described as a bedroom? You're trying to sell a 2-bedroom property.
It's that thought process, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And so by realigning all the marketing and doing a proper job of it and a really good job of it, it was sold in, what, 4 weeks? 8
It
weeks?
was, yeah. It was, I think we were start to finish 72 days, if I remember right.
Which is phenomenal. And it's the same with quite a lot of our other instructions.
I remember because I wrote the flyer and sent it to everybody who could read in the region,
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's probably my controversial opinion. The bar is low. It must be. I can't wait for us to have some competition up at our level, giving us a run for our money, because then it really sharpens the claws. It's going to make the fees really interesting as agents as well. And everyone's going to perform. It's one of the reasons I like to charge for marketing advance. I am therefore already answerable to my clients. They have given me money for something.
I like that.
I then have to perform, and I have to do a really, really, really bloody amazing job of it. Otherwise, what the hell was that 1,500 quid for?
It was interesting. It's not actually quite as controversial as you'd think, is it really?
Ah, damn it. Should have gone for the portals one.
But it is controversial because, frankly, we should be better. It isn't rocket science what we do, but it is, to get it right, there is a bar, isn't there? To get it truly right. And I think Simon Gates, on this very spot, in fact, this time earlier in the year, he said that agents charge too much. Whereas everybody else says that actually fees are too low, he's arguing, actually, I think you're charging too much for the service you provide because you're quite crap, actually.
Yeah.
Which,
that's quite a good way of spinning it. I like that. Yeah, I like that. I do. I think that's very wise. I think attached to that conversation about costs, I think when you are doing it right and you are doing a proper job, I think what really upsets me a lot, I'm pretty thick-skinned, but it's how much aggro we get as estate agents and what people don't realise we have to put up with and what we have to deal with and the knowledge centre we have to provide to get deals across the line and get properties to market and make sure everybody stays within the rules /law. It's really, really, really hard. And it's not as simple as, just whack it on Tinternet and, you know, someone will come round, take pretty pictures, someone will come round and buy it, bish, bash, bosh, give it to It's not that. There is so much more. And I remember years ago when I think I was at Humbert's at the time, I sat at the desk and someone came in and she was very belittling, said, one of my children was thinking about doing a bit of this and, can't be that difficult. I said, well, I've actually had 3 years at a university and I've done a year of law, I've done a year of accounting, I've done a year of psychology, I've done a year of this and a year of that, all mapped in to studying to do what I'm doing now. And she just went, ooh?
Yeah.
What's law got to do with it? Well, there's the Estate Agents Act, there's the Misdescriptions Act at the time.
As the time was.
Yeah. And all of that. And there is a phenomenal amount. And I don't think actually good estate agents get the credit they deserve.
Good. So there you have it. Well done. Should we go sell some houses?
Come on.
I've got a job to do. Go on then.